Top 10 Most Dangerous Hackers on the Planet. 1. Kevin Mitnik. Kevin Mitnik is one of the prominent figures in the hacker community in the United States. He began his career as a teenager. In 1981, he was accused of stealing computer user manuals from Pacific Bell. In 1982, he attacked the North American Aerospace Defense Command (NORAD), an achievement that inspired the 1983 film War Games. In 1989, he infiltrated networks and copied software from Digital Equipment Corporation. Due to DEC being a leading computer manufacturer at the time, this law put Mitnik on the radar. Subsequently, Kevin Mitnik was arrested, convicted, and sent to prison. During his supervised release, he hacked into the Pacific Bell voicemail system. Throughout his hacking career, Mitnik never exploited the access rights and data he acquired. Many believe that he gained full control over Pacific Bell's network simply to demonstrate that it could be done. A warrant was issued for his arrest in connection with the Pacific Bell case, but Mitnik went into hiding and lived in anonymity for over 2 years. When he was finally apprehended, he served time in prison for multiple charges of phone fraud and computer fraud. Although Mitnik eventually turned to white hat hacking, he may be seen as a figure who straddles the gray area between both hats. According to Wired, in 2014, he launched Mitnik's Absolute Zero-Day Exploit Exchange, specializing in selling critical, unpatched software exploits to the highest bidder. 2. Anonymous began its operations in 2003 on the obscure 4chan bulletin board. In 2008, the group took issue with the Church of Scientology and started disabling their websites, negatively impacting their search engine rankings on Google and overwhelming their fax machines with all-black images. In March 2008, a group of Anons marched through Scientology centers worldwide, donning the famous Guy Fawkes masks. Anonymous is a decentralized and primarily known as an international activist collective and movement. They are notorious for conducting various cyber attacks against governments, government organizations, corporations, and scientific institutions. According to The New Yorker, while the FBI and other law enforcement agencies have tracked some more prominent members of the group, the lack of any real hierarchical structure makes it nearly impossible to identify or eliminate Anonymous as a whole. 3. Adrian Alfonso Lamo Atwood was an American threat analyst and hacker. Lamo is most known for leaking hundreds of thousands of sensitive government documents to WikiLeaks. In 2001, at the age of 20, Adrian Lamo used an unprotected content management tool at Yahoo to modify a Reuters article and added a fabricated quote attributed to former Attorney General John Ashcroft. Lamo would often hack systems and then notify both the press and his victims. In some cases, he would help clean up the mess to improve their security. However, as Wired pointed out, Lamo went too far in 2002 when he hacked into the New York Times internal network, added himself to the list of expert sources, and began conducting research on public figures. Lamo earned the nickname the Homeless Hacker because he enjoyed wandering the streets with little more than a backpack and often had no fixed address. Lamo passed away in 2018 at the age of 37. 4. Albert Gonzalez. Gonzalez was nicknamed Supnazi and started off as the leader of the high school computer nerds in Miami. Eventually, he became active on the criminal marketplace website shadowcrew.com and was considered one of the best hackers and administrators on that website. At the age of 22, Gonzalez was arrested in New York for credit card fraud related to the theft of data from millions of card accounts. To avoid prison, he became an informant for the Secret Service, ultimately assisting in the prosecution of dozens of Shadow Crew members. During his time as an informant, Gonzalez continued engaging in criminal activities. Alongside a group of accomplices, he stole over 180 million payment card accounts from companies including OfficeMax, Dave and Buster's, and Boston Market. Gonzalez's 2005 attack on U.S. retailer TJX was the first large-scale data breach of credit card information. He and his notorious hacking group created backdoors into several company networks, estimated to have stolen around $256 million from TJX alone. During his sentencing in 2015, Federal prosecutors referred to the victims of Gonzalez as unparalleled. 5. Matthew Benn and Richard Price. Matthew Benn and Richard Price are a British hacker duo who targeted several military networks in 1996, including Griffiths Air Force Base, the Defense Information Systems Agency, and the Korea Atomic Research Institute (KARI). Benn, also known as Kuji, and Price, known as Datastream Cowboy, were accused of nearly starting a Third World War after publicly researching KARI's systems related to U.S. military infrastructure. Richard Price is a British citizen residing in the United Kingdom and was still a student at the time of his arrest. His hacker alias is Datastream Cowboy. Matthew Benn, a British citizen, had his first computer, a Sinclair ZX81, at the age of 12, and his alias is Kuji. Benn claimed he was trying to prove an extraterrestrial conspiracy theory, similar to the case of Gary McKinnon. Regardless of their intentions, Benn and Price demonstrated that even military networks were vulnerable to attacks. 6. Jensen James Onketa was interested in using bots, which are software-based robots that can infect and ultimately control computer systems. Around June 2004, he began working with a botnet after discovering Oxbot, a popular computer worm capable of spreading through infect. A botnet is a term specifically used to refer to a collection of software robots, also known as bots, running independently and automatically. Using a large-scale botnet, he was able to infiltrate over 400,000 computers by 2005. He would then rent out these machines to advertising companies and also get paid to directly install bots or advertising software on specific systems. On May 9, 2006, Jensen James Onketa became the first person to be charged with controlling a large number of compromised computers or a botnet. Onketa was sentenced to 57 months in prison. This was the first time a hacker was incarcerated for utilizing botnet technology. 7. Michael Kals. Michael Kals is a cybersecurity expert and former computer hacker from Le Bazard, Quebec. In February 2000, Michael Kals, at the age of 15, also known as Mafia Boy, discovered how to compromise a university's computer network. He utilized their combined resources to break into the top search engine at that time, Yahoo. Within a week, he also brought down Dell, eBay, CNN, and Amazon through a distributed denial of service DDoS attack that overwhelmed their servers and caused their websites to crash. Kals's wake-up call was perhaps the most glaring wake-up call for cybercriminals and internet advocates. It is not an exaggeration to say that the development of anti-cybercrime laws suddenly became a top priority for the government due to Kals's hacking incident. In the latter half of 2005, Michael Kals wrote a computer security column for Le Journal du Monteur L. By the end of 2008, he announced that he was writing a book, Mafia Boy: How I Cracked the Internet and Why It's Still Broken, with journalist Craig Silverman. 8. Kevin Powelson. In 1983, a 17-year-old teenager named Kevin Powelson, using the alias Dark Dante, hacked into ARPANET, the computer network of the Pentagon. Although he was quickly apprehended, the authorities decided not to prosecute Powelson, who was still a minor at the time. Instead, he was issued a warning. However, Powelson disregarded this warning and continued hacking. In 1988, Powelson hacked into a federal computer and delved into files related to the deposed Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos. When discovered by law enforcement, Powelson went underground. While on the run, Powelson remained busy hacking government records and exposing secrets. According to his own website, in 1990, he hacked into a radio station contest and ensured that he was the 102nd caller, winning a brand new Porsche, a vacation, and 20,000. Powelson was quickly arrested and banned from using computers for 3 years. Since then, he has transitioned to journalism and become an ethical hacker, writing about cybersecurity and socio-political issues related to the web for Wired, The Daily Beast, and his own blog, Threat Level. Powelson has also collaborated with other prominent hackers to carry out various projects dedicated to social justice and freedom of information. Perhaps most notably, he worked with Aaron Swartz and Jim Dolan to develop the open-source software Securidrop, originally known as Deadrop. Ultimately, Paulson transferred the platform, enabling secure communication between journalists and sources, to the Freedom of the Press Foundation. Jonathan James, using the alias Comrade, Jonathan James launched attacks on several companies. According to the New York Times, what truly caught James' attention was when he hacked into the computer systems of the United States Department of Defense. Even more impressive was the fact that James was only 15 years old at the time. In an interview with PC Mag, James admitted that he was partly inspired by the book, The Cuckoo's Egg, which tells the story of hunting down a computer hacker in the 1980s. His hacking allowed him to access over 3,000 messages from government employees, including usernames, passwords, and other sensitive data. James was arrested in 2000 and was sentenced to 6 months of home confinement and banned from using computers for recreational purposes. However, probation violation led to him serving 6 months in prison. Jonathan James became the youngest person to be convicted of a cybercrime offense. In 2007, TGX, a retail store, was targeted in a cyberattack, and a significant amount of customer personal information was stolen. Although lacking evidence, authorities suspected that James might have been involved. 10. Astra. This hacker differs from others on this list in that his identity has never been publicly disclosed. However, according to the Daily Mail, some information has been revealed about Astra. Specifically, he was arrested in 2008, and at that time, he was identified as a 58-year-old Greek mathematician. It is known that he infiltrated the Dassault Group for nearly half a decade. During that time, he stole advanced weapon technology, data, and software, which he then sold to 250 individuals worldwide. His hacking operation caused Dassault Group a loss of $360 million. No one knows why his full identity has never been disclosed, but the name Astra is a word in Sanskrit that means weapon.